What up, guys? Welcome back. It is Valley of the Suplex, the abridged version. We are here, episode 3.5. Me and my man Chris Patrick over here. Chris, how we doing today, bub?
Doing good, Niko. Glad to finally be back. It's an interesting time right now, a little bit slow in the wrestling world, but really busy in other sections of the sporting world. So, at Valley Sports Plug, we kind of cover it all. So it's been a crazy time, but glad to get this episode out and get back on track in the near future.
Yeah, and we do call it episode 3.5, guys, because this is not officially our fourth episode. We're going to do a little bit of an abridged version here. Basically, as you guys know, as wrestling fans, football season is a hard one to hurdle. Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Football, they are on at the same time. You spend most of your week from Thursday on watching football. It's kind of hard to be completely in tune. And to be fair, WWE has tried really, really hard to try and combat this by putting out big banger matches that happen. But man, football is football, and in America, football will be king, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it. But yeah, we have not talked to you guys since we had our little preview for Bash in Berlin. I hate to break it to y'all. Bash in Berlin was exactly what we thought they were, to quote the late great Denny Green. It is, I applaud the attempt at WWE for bringing an international show to Germany and trying to expand our roots. But man, Randy Orton and Gunther, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, really, we didn't feast on any of these matches outside of a strap match that CM Punk won, only for that rivalry to not be resolved and to continue on into another pay-per-view at the beginning of October. So, Bash in Berlin, we understand it was there for Rhea and Damian to get their win over the Judgment Day, because as far as we can tell, we're going to keep Liv as champion. But I don't know, Chris. I'm kind of about done with Liv and Rhea fighting each other at this point. It feels like we've been trying to milk this beat now for damn near 3 months, and it's just kind of getting tired, especially when you have such a big roster. It seems odd to one, not let Liv cook when her and Dominic are doing so good, and let her fight somebody else. Let her not have to ride off of the superstar coattails that is Rhea. Am I wrong in thinking that maybe we need something different?
No, dude, you're not wrong at all. I've literally been sitting here thinking the exact same thing. Is just looking at card after card, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, seems like it's the same thing over and over again. It's even getting supremely predictable too, right? I know I don't want to say we're gurus here sitting knowing exactly what's going to happen, but we're kind of 2 for 2 on our pay-per-view predictions. SummerSlam, we nailed it, kind of predicted that turn of Dominic going back with Liv. She's got the belt now. It's just, I think it's time to wrap it up. You have other people on this roster, like you said, and are you are they that unconfident in their other female talent where these are the only 2 that you can continue to put front and center and have go for title contentions? Like you said, let Liv cook, let her fight some other people, and move on, get a new storyline going, and maybe we get Dominic Mysterio doing something else as well. Because I caught him on Logan Paul's podcast, and when he's not in character, he was half in character, but he's a likable dude. I'd be in favor of a Dominic face turn at some point, but he plays the heel really well, I will say.
And it'll be interesting to see how they tackle that, because he's been pretty much a heel since the whole Rhea Judgment Day situation happened. I mean, the crowd really turned on Dominic because Rhea was into Dominic, and that's crazy, the amount of pull and power that Rhea has. But it's now made Dom honestly one of the best heels on the roster. And yeah, I did see that Impulsive podcast. He was hysterical. The comments that he made, you guys just got to go check it out. He pigeonholed Logan Paul pretty hard in one of his comments.
The whole Japan thing.
Yeah, man. When he said, if we ever do a show in Japan, you need to come out with that hat. Yeah, dude, I lost.
That might have gone over my head because I just remember he's like, "Are you even allowed in Japan?"
Yeah.
Just kind of spoiled it, but still, check it out. We don't do it justice.
Yeah, no, we don't do it justice. But yeah, I don't know. This is a tendency I think WWE has, and it's just kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, beat a dead horse. That is the collapse of the Judgment Day. I think we pretty much solidified that when like Dom and Liv like made out at SummerSlam. I think that was pretty much solidifying the death of the Judgment Day. We needed those episodes after to tie up all the loose ends there, Finn Balor and JD McDonough and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're like 2 months past this, and we're still trying to tell the story of the Judgment Day unfolding. It's a little bit monotonous at this point. We just need to kind of understand that we have a new Judgment Day, and they need to feast their eyes upon different talent. I will say, I'm trying to figure out how, if WWE is leaning towards a mixed gendered Survivor Series 5-on-5 match. I don't know how they would do that, because all of the God, why can't I think of the name of the match? All of those War Games, the War Games match. All those War Game matches have been traditionally 5 dudes, or 5 girls, 5 girls. But it seems like with Jey Uso adding on to the Terror Twins, that's now 3. You have Carlito, Liv, Dominic, JD, and Finn. That's your 5 for your one cage. You have 3. You need to add 2 more. WWE has shown that they're not afraid to just stick Kevin Owens in a situation. God, and hope that he's the failsafe. But I don't know, man. It's an interesting thing to kind of look at right now. We're not going to harp too much more on Bash in Berlin. It's just like we said, it's been honestly kind of uneventful, unfortunately. WWE is, however, in the act of resurrecting old pay-per-views. I like the idea. I think as WWE fans, we got into the idea of like every year there's Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Hell in a Cell. You started naming off all these pay-per-views that we know and love. And I think Triple H is trying to put a little new blood in with bringing in some of these old pay-per-views. So we have Bad Blood, first time in a very long time. And I, as we were talking about it before, Chris pointed out to me that this is the first time. Well, this was the first Hell in a Cell match. Am I correct in that fact, Chris?
Yeah, at Bad Blood in 2000. Nope. Bad math. 27 years ago, whatever that was. I'm not good at quick math, but yeah, that was the first Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood.
So in that spirit, we will be getting another Hell in a Cell match, as we probably should, honestly. It's CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Honestly, I'm a little kind of almost hurt by this one, because I thought that the ending we had in Berlin was nice. I thought the strap match with the bracelet being broken and all the theatrics that went into it was a really good story to tell. And I thought that they did a really good job. This feels like another situation where, like, hey man, why isn't CM Punk going after the belt yet? Or, like, why is this the match?
That's what I'm saying. Is like, when I look at these matches, like back to back, doing the strap match, then Hell in a Cell, who do they hate? Do they hate CM Punk or do they hate Drew McIntyre? I mean, it kind of leaning towards CM Punk, but I will say, just to kind of go back just a little bit, I think with like these bringing back these old pay-per-views, trying to mix in some new ones as well, I feel like Triple H is trying to walk that line of keeping his fan base that's stuck around and that's been here, as well as rope in people that might have been tuned out for a while, as well as enticing new fans to come and join in. So I think he's doing an okay job, but it's a lot. It's interesting.
It's just, it feels like to me the timing more than anything is very random with some of these pay-per-views. It feels like we'll have 2 weeks in between pay-per-views for one set of pay-per-views, and then the next we have like 6 weeks, and it's like, okay, so like I would prefer, and maybe this is just my OCD, but like I would prefer that maybe we have like pay-per-views at the end of the month. That way, as a wrestling fan, I know at the beginning of the month we're building a storyline or continuing a storyline or something like that. Whereas, like as a wrestling fan, if I tune in the beginning of the month and we have a pay-per-view next week, like, and you're going, well, there's no way, we just had a pay-per-view 2 weeks ago. I just think the timing is very odd in all of it.
Yeah, and more to like the time, like more microscoped in timing of it. This is this pay-per-view Bad Blood's going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So here in Arizona, that's 3 p.m. and they do that because UFC 307 is going to be the same night, and so you can tell that they're aware of those scheduling conflicts and where eyes might be elsewhere. So I think I want to give them credit for being flexible, but it does kind of suck that they're acknowledging that like they have to take that back seat and start earlier.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, partially being owned by, I mean, they're fully owned by Endeavor, but like UFC and WWE sharing the same owner, I mean, they know for sure that their money is not going to come from the pay-per-views or from the Peacock watches for WWE. They're going to come from the pay-per-views from UFC. So that's Endeavor telling you this is where our products lie, essentially. And yeah, dude, we've had this with a lot of the European matches too. It seems like we cannot get a normal start time for a WWE like premium live event for the life of us. It feels like every single one has been 3 a.m. or midnight, or now we got 3:30 and 3 in the afternoon. You know, like it would just be nice to like have like an 8 p.m. This is gonna air. You know, like just give me something. Like, and it could be also because I now live on the West Coast, and living in Illinois afforded me a lot of, hey, this is on at 7 o'clock. Whereas like if it's on at 7 o'clock in Illinois, it's on at fucking 5 o'clock in Arizona, and you probably probably not in the same spot in your day, you know?
Yeah, that's like real interesting. It's almost like the inverse of what people on the East Coast deal with when like a Lakers game starts at 8 o'clock West time, and so that's what in depending on the time of year 10 or 11 Eastern time, and people are like, why am I forced to stay up until 1 a.m. to watch the Lakers? It's like because people on the West Coast don't have time to get off work and make it down to Crypto.com Arena at 4 p.m., especially in LA traffic. And you're talking prime time, like a game starts at 5:36. Which is a reasonable hour in the East Coast, but then TNT wants to do like back-to-backs. But with this, I don't know, man. I also wonder, like, just while we're kind of thinking out loud here, like how much they look at their numbers of live viewers during their pay-per-views versus people who watch back on the stream, because I'm sure it's probably pretty close. And whether that's people watching it a second time that did tune in live or just people who have busy lives, like I know there's a lot of, like, more often than not, I'm having to watch these back on the replay on either, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whenever I can get to it. So maybe they're like, hey, we're not going to take that big of a hit by moving it back just a little bit. The people who are passionate about it and want to tune in while it's live are going to do it. And then everyone else will just watch when they can watch, like they always do anyway.
Well, that's a very good point. I can't tell you the last time I watched a WWE like PLE live. 9 times out of 10 anymore, it's me and the wife turning it on 20 minutes after it's ended because we got to get the kid in bed, and your life happens. So,
yep.
And on that note, WWE, call Peacock, because whatever y'all are doing, we need to get this straightened out. The fact that SummerSlam was recorded as a like 9-hour event, and I wasn't able to start SummerSlam until 2 hours after SummerSlam ended, that's a problem. Just saying, from like somebody who's viewing and going out of their way to view your product, you're not making it accessible. That's bad business. That's beside the point. That was my own little soapbox, but
yeah, because there's other streaming platforms do it, even sports do it, where I get that they probably wanted to maybe edit it down a little bit, see if they could scratch out 20 minutes or so, cut off some ends of it or whatever. And I don't even know if that's necessarily the case, but it's not hard to, have it available right away. It can be done.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, that the problem that I have with this go around is that Peacock has shown like we'll do pre festivity stuff, the pre-show, and then we'll make that its own separate streamed event. Then you can restream that, and then the pay-per-view goes live. I've never seen it all combined into one where it's like a fucking 10-hour gap of like, it was nonsense. So call somebody at Peacock Trips because that's a problem. Yeah, man, it's just WWE is in a very interesting point right now where we have really, really good stuff going on and also like comically bad stuff going on as well. I guess that's the WWE just in a nutshell, though. Like, we were very blessed with the whole Bloodline run and Cody's ascend to the championship. And now that Cody's champion, I hate to say it, man, but it's kind of boring. I kind of feel like we don't have a bad guy. I kind of feel like we don't have a community goal anymore. I mean, am I off base in saying this?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, I think just from my perspective in my limited time having tuned back in over the past few months is Cody comes across pretty likable. I mean, they've kind of, I don't know if he's necessarily a face at this point in time, but like when you have a guy like that, I don't know, where do you go from here? It almost feels like it's leading up to him, potentially losing that title sooner rather than later.
Well, and part of it was like, man, when we went on a 2-year run with Cody trying to get this belt, and now it kind of almost feels like if it's a very interesting feeling. It feels like we enjoyed the chase more than the result at this point, and like that's not great if that's your champion. I do think that like Cody is the guy as far as like you're going into a deal with Netflix, your business merging with UFC, you need your champion to be the face of the company. Cody does a great job at that. Roman also did a great job at that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like I wanted Roman to be champ still. That was never the case. I was ready for Cody to take the belt off Roman. I thought it should have been done a year earlier, and then maybe this year run after isn't as boring or as lackluster, but like I also think you're not doing it any service when you're giving me Cody and Kevin Owens as a championship bout when Cody and Kevin Owens were just on a tag team together, and like the whole angle of it being like Cody it's a respect thing for Kevin Owens, and Cody's giving Kevin this shot out of respect. Like that's bullshit, man. Like if I was champion and like me and you like we're tag team, and then all of a sudden like next week you were like, hey man, I want your belt. I'd be like, fuck you, Chris. I'm gonna go wrestle somebody else, dude.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like you know how hard I worked for that. I'm not just gonna give you like no. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses going forward. I don't see Cody losing his belt anytime soon. But yeah, nonetheless, kind of still on topic here, but back to Bad Blood. Cody and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline in a tag match. I thought I couldn't get more confused than when we did Kevin Owens and Cody for the championship. Cody and Roman putting their differences aside to tag team against the new Bloodline. Man, is there anybody else? Like how the Fatus have so many cousins in that family. Roman Reigns, the Usos. There's so many pieces that you could have somehow managed to get together that didn't involve Cody, that didn't involve tarnishing Cody's character. And I think you put a stain on his character when it's like, oh, the bad guy that tormented everybody for 3 years? Well, now we work together. It's like if Mr. Incredible and that little blue dude that was the villain in the first movie were best friends all of a sudden. It would be weird.
Yeah, it just seems like they're kind of floundering with what to do with Cody next. And I wonder, like, with him having, defended his championship at SummerSlam, then again at Bash in Berlin, if they're just like, well, we can't just throw another Kevin Owens style random championship match in here. So, but we still want to have Cody out there to draw the eyeballs and to get people tuned in. So, Yeah, it was kind of a weird end when at SummerSlam when Roman Reigns came out. It didn't really give me friendship vibes or tag team vibes. Like they were gonna, join forces or whatever. It just comes off a little lazy. Like with the whole like, I guess this doesn't necessarily fall into this category per se, but like when we were talking about, Liv, Rhea, Dom, how they kind of just like, it reminds me of that meme of like the farmer carrying all the buckets to the emaciated cow where he's like, "Good morning, sunshine." Like it just kind of comes off like that.
Honest to God, man, you're spot on with that. It's, I mean, it's interesting. So this is the interesting thing. Bad Blood is happening in Atlanta. Cody is from Atlanta. He's literally like from the Atlanta, Georgia area. That's where he grew up with Dusty. Why are we not like? Why did we bust our nut for Berlin and giving Cody a championship instead of maybe making this a 2-month build between Cody and like a Bronson Reed or a Braun Strowman or give me I don't care if it's a big beefy dude that just needs to look mean. Like you could have sold me that better than you would have sold me Roman Reigns and Cody on a tag team or Cody versus Kevin Owens. So that's my kind of view on that. I think we're kind of botching it a little bit, but I do know that WWE is trying to get the most Cody exposure as they possibly can. They want him on everything. That's your guy.
It makes sense. Yeah, exactly. That's your guy. That's the guy who gets asses in seats and eyeballs on screens. So sure, why not?
Yeah, and kind of looking down this so far card. Keep in mind, it is October 5th will be the date for Bad Blood. We do have a little bit of time here, but we have Hell in a Cell, which I mentioned, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline. We're gonna have a Women's World Championship match with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Which at this point they've been so connected, we feel like we've seen that already. There's another Women's Championship match. It is Nia Jax versus the TBA. So we have not announced who the challenger is, and it looks like that Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton will team up against Bayley and Naomi in a tag team match on SmackDown next week. And the winner earns a shot at Jax's title. Whoever loses has to leave SmackDown. So they at least give you some sort of sweet tease with that. I do think it's going to eventually end up being Tiffany Stratton cashing in on Nia Jax and breaking that allegiance, I guess. It was a very bizarre alliance between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. But my bet is that if we're looking at it, Bayley and Naomi, Bayley just came off a very uneventful title run. Naomi really hasn't done much since she's been back. You're going to have a better time selling me on a match if it's Bayley than if it's Naomi. But like I said, I do feel like it ends in a Tiffany Stratton cash-in. And then we have Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. We're going to continue to elongate this exorcism of the Judgment Day. Finn basically in the last Raw stepped up and said, I was the one that was in Dominic's ear saying, go to Liv. I was the one who did it. Like this was my plan from the get-go, was to blow this thing to pieces. That's not news. We knew that a month ago after SummerSlam. So once again, it's the Judgment Day imploding, and then they're finally going to get into the ring. We'll see how this turns out, man. I don't know. What do you think?
It's just like, for me, if we're already sitting here talking about being over the Liv Rhea, saga, there are other people that feel the same way. And so this is basically just an offshoot of that. And, the Judgment Day, I get they're somewhat their own thing, but it's been very intertwined with that storyline. And I just think, people are over it. This is just a random filler singles match on the card for me that I could see this going maybe 15 minutes. I don't think this is when you go to the bathroom, you refill your drink, get something to eat.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is like last night when I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw a lot of clips from the Braun Strowman Bronson Reed match where I believe Bronson Reed picked the audience member up out of the crowd and threw him at Braun Strowman. Fantastic angle. We all know that's not a real fucking audience member, but it's a great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's my thing is like, where's that match in a pay-per-view? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to do a filler match, give it to somebody who deserves to be like in a spotlight. Those two dudes have done a shit ton for the brand. I know Braun Strowman has been Harrison Butker-esque with his comments, but like, you know, and I don't know if that's WWE penalizing him, but it's been some time. And you have Braun Strowman, who's just a big beefy dude who can wrestle, man. Like, give me something like that on a pay-per-view. Everything does not need to be major storylines. Sometimes major storylines can rest and wait a pay-per-view out, and it makes it that much more digestible. So I don't know. We'll see what we got going with this. We still, like I said, we got a couple more weeks. We got about 3 weeks before Bad Blood really comes to us. And then one kind of last thing I was going to touch on, speaking of bringing things back, Saturday Night Main Event is back with WWE. For those who don't know, that was like back in the day when they had promotions based on where you were located. You would have like the Nashville promotion. You have the Texas promotion, which we found Booker T through. Every WWE was every Saturday, and it was Saturday night. He also did Saturday morning, but Saturday night's main event was like the gathering point. So I don't know. This will be interesting to see. Granted, if you look at the date, it's about a month and 9 days after Bad Blood. I'm assuming that Saturday night's main event is just going to be like any other pay-per-view. We've just called it Saturday night's main event. For nostalgia's sake, it looks like in Nassau, in New York. That's a wrestling crowd, man. They are fun. They are loud. That will be a fun arena to be in. And if you're looking at this this graphic here, and we all know how WWE fans feel about overanalyzing a graphic. You got Roman Reigns, you have Bianca Belair, you have Liv Morgan, you have Seth Rollins with Cody in the middle. Hey, if we get a Bianca Belair Liv Morgan match, that could be just fun to watch, man. Bianca will throw blows, and we know Liv doesn't give a shit about her safety, so she'll jump from anything. That could be a fun match to watch. If I get fucking Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, oh, baby. Yes, please. You know, like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm here for. Chris, I don't think that's what we're going to see, but.
Yeah, no, I'm not holding my breath, man. I mean, I'm with you. Like, you can't really, read into the promos too much. I mean, we saw Jey Uso holding up the Money in the Bank on the promo for that. I don't know. I think you could read this either way, or it's just they're putting their big names up there. But it could tell me, like, yeah, maybe you get to see Liv and Bianca Belair in where Liv retains in this upcoming match, and then she goes on whatever happens over the next month and a half. Then she's fighting in a title fight on Saturday Night Main Event. Obviously, this event with the tag team with Cody and Roman is, I think, some weird shit could happen. I think we could see some backstabbing potentially, but it also, so on one hand, it could signal change is coming, but it could also signal that it's just going to be more of the same. You got Liv on the graphic, probably going to be another Liv Rhea match. I mean, that's what I would say. I'm probably 60-40, and that's me being optimistic. 60% that it's going to stay the same, 40% that it changes.
It is very interesting that you bring up that you think that there's going to be some twists in that Bloodline match. Because usually the matches that we're going, what the fuck is this match, are the matches that do have some sort of weird twist in it, where they were like, well, this is why this made sense. Like, if I had to guess, what I would like to see, Mr. Jacob Fatu turn on Solo Sikoa and come to the right-hand side of the Tribal Chief in Roman Reigns. That would be fucking sick. That would be a sweet way to re-energize this whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, it's you can't really like you said, we saw Yeet in the Bank for a whole month before Money in the Bank happened. So now I like the idea of bringing back Saturday Night Main Event. I do like that we're not pushing this up against Christmas. That has been a mistake that WWE has made in the past before. And to be fair, Trips is notorious for letting these guys go and enjoy their holidays, which Vince did not go do, or let any of his staff do for that matter. So my guess is that we're going to get Saturday Night Main Event on the 14th, and then we're going to get 2 pre-recorded SmackDowns and probably a pre-recorded Raw, just because at least that's how Trips did it a couple years ago. We were lucky enough to be at like one of those SmackDowns where they recorded 2 episodes of SmackDown because it was a Christmas show, and we watched Ricochet get a gash in the side of his head from a Christmas tree. So
love that.
Yeah, love it. But yeah, man, we're not going to take too much more time here. We just wanted to get back out there and let you guys know that we are up and running and we are functioning. It's been a crazy time here at the Valley Sports Plug, man. We always are moving and grinding, coming up with new ideas, trying to keep you guys happy. So we do appreciate you guys tuning in, joining the abridged version of this. Before we get out of here, like always, man, like and subscribe. Make sure you're leaving reviews and 5 stars. Tell us you liked our hair. It doesn't matter. We look forward to seeing you guys in the future. I'm assuming we'll probably put out another podcast in a week or 2, fully staffed. We'll get back to basics, back to Monday night recordings and Monday Night Raw reviews. So yeah, guys, I thank you guys for joining us. Before we say goodbye, Chris, is there anything you want to say to the people?
No, man, I just, if you've made it this far in the video, watching our podcast, we really appreciate it. Like Niko said, like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you think about our commentary, what you would like to see us do with this podcast. We're very much men of the people. We want to give you what you like, talk about what you want to hear, and just keep it pushing, man. So, yeah, we did have a bit of a unscheduled hiatus there, but we're back at it. We'll be getting you some full feature-length podcasts coming again real soon.
Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. I am Niko, host of Valley of the Suplex. This is Chris, one of my co-hosts. We are Valley of the Sports. We are Valley Sports Plug. What a tongue twister, brother.
That's it.
We are Valley Sports Plug. We look forward to seeing you guys here soon. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, enjoy, be safe, tell a friend, be a friend. We appreciate you guys very much.